Hi everyone. So thank you for joining our session this evening. Thank you for taking your time out to kind of listen to more information about SJP. So just want to start and sort of do some introductions. So my name's Eve Bales. I am the early careers recruiter here at St James's Place. And I've been in the business now for 4 years, leading on all of the apprenticeship recruitment, graduate recruitment, intern recruitment. And I will hand you over to Bryony and Sam, who will just quickly do some introductions as well.
You go on, Bri.
Okay, so I'm Bryony White, and I am the one of the second-year apprentices at St James's Place, and I work in the technical and advice area and helping support the partnership.
Hi everyone, my name's Sam. So like Bryony, I'm second-year apprentice as well. I'm currently working in client liaison, which is the complaints division at St James's Place.
Perfect, thank you. So the session tonight is actually being recorded, so you can probably see us, but we can't actually see any of your faces. But what we'll be doing is we will be going through and just telling you firstly an introduction into St James's Place. So what I will quickly do now is I will just share my screen for all of you. Bear with me. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can now all see my screen. So I'll just go through. So this is really an overview of our early careers programs, and there's also within here sort of some hints and tips as to the application processes as well that are related to SJP, but also would be related to some other organisations as well. So if we just get beginning, I also just want to quickly mention as well, so if you've got any questions that you've got, we will be going through these at the end of today's session. So if you've got any questions during today, if you can just pop those in the Q&A box. Thank you. Okay, so this here, I don't know if you can see my arrow or not, but at the top right, we've got our head office in Cirencester. And then to the left here, we had some sort of past apprentices and sort of apprentices and graduates down here as well. And they're all in our Cirencester-based office. So here we've got some information about St James's Place. So we are a FTSE 100 financial services organisation. So we offer a range of management services via our network of financial advisors. So this network is referred to as the St James's Place Partnership and is made up of all types of partner businesses. So as a business, we seek to protect and grow the wealth of our clients through trusted advice and our unique investment approach. So this is underpinned by continued investment in our products and services, people and technology, as well as strong service delivery ethos for both our advisors and clients. So we've grown consistently since we began trading in 1992 to become a leading wealth management business that we are today. So our head office, like I had said, we are based in Cirencester. We've also got 22 offices sort of across the UK, premises in Hong Kong, Singapore, Shanghai and Dublin. And as you can see here, so our business is inclusive and varied with employees across client services, finance, risk. We have a whole host of sort of different departments that we have in the business, and we all are here to support our partnership. So our partnership are all effectively kind of a partnership arm to us. So everything that we do here at St James's Place supports the businesses, the partner businesses, and make sure that they're doing the best they can, giving the best advice to the clients and being as helpful as they can. So if we've just moved on here to sort of our values and cultures. So just as our clients invest in us, we also invest in people. So our vision is to create a very vibrant workplace to work, we'll go through in a minute and sort of talk about our experiences of SJP and sort of cultures and things. But so it's a vibrant place to work where difference is recognised as a strength and talented people can really flourish and achieve their highest potential. So talent is not dictated by race, ethnicity, gender, disability, sexual orientation, age, religion, social class, or background. So looking at this today, so as you can see, we've got around 2,540 partner businesses, and within those we've got 4,338 qualified advisors. So we've got some independent financial advisors, but we've also got a lot of financial advisors who work within those partner businesses. So looking at SJP today, we are a FTSE 100 company. So we've got 143.8 billion funds under management. So that's our client funds. So we provide a range of wealth management solutions, so from investments to pensions. But we also continue to believe that face-to-face financial advice is important for everyone, and that remains a key part of our strategy here at SJP. As you can all imagine, it's been quite difficult sort of during the last year in terms of COVID, but really getting back to it now in terms of the face-to-face environment that we have. So I'll move on next, and I'll show you a bit of a brief introduction in terms of our services that we have. So we've got sort of protection services. So we sort of effectively have solutions to meet insurance and protection needs for our clients. So whether that's sort of life cover, advice on inheritance tax, SJP will always offer the right products and services that suit the needs of the client. So as you can see, also we've got managing cash and borrowings. So we also offer sort of mortgages, first-time buyers, sort of options with downsizing. We offer all that different type of advice there. And also you can see sort of around building and preserving capital. So that's more around kind of, so regardless of the life stage of our clients that they are, it's important that they always receive the right advice on their pensions, and making sure that the clients make the most of their retirement opportunities. So SJP kind of support all different ages, and all different sort of areas of support in people's lives, and all the advice that they need. So those are the services that effectively our partners are going out and supporting the clients with, and there are host of different departments within SJP that do everything in the background with all the back office type staff that support the partners to go out and provide the best advice that they can. So what I will do next is move more on to, I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but we have a charitable foundation within SJP. So I will share a little bit here. So SJP Charitable Foundation was formed in 1992. It's been a philanthropic arm of St James's Place Group. So we've always had a foundation here, and as you can see, the foundation's raised around 102.65 million. 10 million was raised to charitable causes in 2022, and 807 charities were supported in 2022. So you can see that there's a large range there of different charities that we are supporting. We can also see in here that we have all of our employees. Well, at the moment, we've got currently over 88% of partners and employees that regularly donate. So you can completely choose in terms of how much you want to donate per month, but we will put in, could be from a pound to however much you want to donate towards the foundation. And there's a whole host of range of different charities that are supported. We host so many different events throughout the organisation to raise money. People run the marathon, they do hosts of different tracks and walking up mountains, but also we do cake sales, and really we have charity events that really brings the communities together as well. So that's more around SJP, who we are, what we're about, and also the foundation element of it. So if we kind of move more now on to the early careers programs itself, so from the sort of the introduction that I went through at the beginning, so we've got apprenticeship opportunities, rotational graduate opportunities, specialist grad roles, internships, and industrial placements. So with those, then what we'll do is we'll kind of take a step through and talk about the individual opportunities that we've got to offer. So if we start with the apprenticeship program, and Sam and Bryony having been on that, I will hand over to you guys, as you're the perfect people to talk about it.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there, apologies. So as I said, and Eve said, so I'm on the apprenticeship. I joined in 2020 in kind of COVID-ridden times, and it was an interesting experience, to say the least, just kind of adjusting to work straight away, coming out of school with, you know, half people, or most of the people at home to start with, and, you know, now more people are coming in. I kind of start to see what the office environment is like. But, you know, through my time in the apprenticeship, I've had a lot of experience with early careers. They've given me a lot of opportunities to do presentations like this, and then there's a lot of kind of training that they kind of put you through on communication, presentation skills, learning more about the culture of the company, learning more about the actual different, you know, wings of the company as well, because there are so many that you know, that you can get involved with. My journey as an apprentice, I'm on a rotational scheme, so I'm one of 4 people from my cohort. Bryony is in that cohort as well, where I rotate around different parts of the business, and that's been a really good opportunity for me to learn about what goes on in each part, and also to network with a lot of different people. It's been a really good opportunity to kind of learn how to communicate with different types of people, to like be able to kind of tone yourself down a bit, and then also kind of be more yourself, depending on, you know, the group that you're in. So, you know, with early careers, they've been really great with supporting me to do exams. They've helped me with courses and training for those exams, and I've been really lucky to kind of have that support, and it's, you know, been great. We also do Duke of Edinburgh, which I'll touch on a bit later, and there's so much that, you know, early careers let us get involved with, and they encourage us to kind of go and network with other people around the business, etc. I'd let Bri kind of talk about her experience now as well.
Yeah, so now I'm going to talk about my experience. First of all, I just wanted to say that I absolutely love the apprenticeship scheme, and it has helped me in all different ways, from personally and professionally. It's developed me so much. For a start, at the beginning of my apprenticeship, I wouldn't be sat here now presenting in front of all of you guys. I was wasn't very confident in presenting. I was quite timid in that respect, and from the support from everybody else around my team, early careers in the company, they've given me plenty of opportunities to practice my presentation skills and my confidence, and now I'm off and away and presenting. So I'm going to try and not repeat as much as what Sam has just mentioned. So me and Sam are in the same apprenticeship scheme, and we are in what's called the Technical Academy, which is part of Technical Connection in the business, which is more the advice technical side for the partnership. We are on a 5-year program where the first year is an apprenticeship itself, and then we have a 4-year development kind of track. So we did our level 3 financial services qualification in the first year, where we did 2 exams and a little bit of coursework to help us through the end. And then now we're moving on to our diploma and our extended diploma in financial planning. Myself, Sam, and then there's 14 other apprentices. We're also involved in lots of other different stuff together, like DAV, early careers opportunities, work experience events. There's lots of other stuff that we've all been involved in, and I know during COVID it's been quite hard seeing everybody and having that face-to-face interaction. So I know the apprenticeship support, we've all had days where we've all come in together so that we can have lunches together, learn from each other, from each other's experiences from all around the business. So I've had a really good time. I'm now going to talk you through kind of the apprenticeship program. So it's open to individuals who have just finished sixth form or a college equivalent course, or anything above that. It's a 1-year programme with early careers and an apprenticeship. And that's where you do your apprenticeship qualification. And then from there onwards, depending on what apprenticeship you're doing within the business, you might have 2 to 5 years development programme where you might finish off your qualifications or develop up through the business and in your roles. The entry requirements for this apprenticeship, so you need English and Maths C grade or above, so you need to have passed both of those GCSEs, and then you would need 2 A-levels or equivalent, such as BTECs. So the 1-year programme is supported by early careers, and the apprentices are recruited into various roles around the business. So once you've done your kind of application process in the interviews, early careers will place you anywhere around the business that they feel will best suit you and your needs and your interests. You'll then complete qualifications related to that role. So I know if you were placed in HR, you would complete a qualification different to somebody who was placed in my area, just because the roles and the qualifications would be more relevant. The apprentices will also achieve, the apprentices will also have an attractive salary, and also they'll have the same employee benefits as everybody else. So we'll have private medical insurance and also bonuses and other benefits that other employees might have. So we're not treated any differently in that respect, and we're all treated very equally. I will now, we're also hosting an apprenticeship open evening towards the end of the year, and then the applications will be open in January 2022. And then as of September, you will start your apprenticeship. So now I'm just going to pass on to Sam, who will do more of an overview of the apprenticeship, such as things like DAV and the foundation event.
Brilliant, thanks, Bri. So within the job role, when you're applying, you kind of early careers will kind of take from your interview what area of the business that you think they think that you might be kind of best suited to. So, for me and Bri, that was the technical academy. So we're rotating around the business and development and advice section of the business, and learning more about kind of the whole process of financial advice. So, the complaints procedure, the technical side, the actual submission of business, checking that submission of business, etc. So job roles can vary. It can vary from working in investment management, working with investment operations, or it could be in the risk team, or it could be in legal. So normally that's what your job role can entail, many different things, and it kind of just depends on what early careers think you're best suited for, and it can also have an impact on what you say in your interview as well. So the job role, I can't really talk too much about everybody else's, but mine has been, as I mentioned before, has been rotating, learning more about the business, 4-month rotations. Now I'm moving into 6-month rotations, and in each of those rotations, you're learning new skills, you're learning communication, you're learning IT skills, Excel, PowerPoint, Word, things like that, and a lot of professional skills that you would need for your later career. So that's kind of a high level overview of the job role. Duke of Edinburgh Gold, we do for 18 months. So the volunteering aspect is 18 months, and that's literally just 1 hour a week of volunteering. And then you need to log it and get an assessor's report for that in order to kind of get it signed off. The skills section will normally be done at SJP. So that might be all of the early careers kind of development meetings that you do. So like I said before about communication, presenting, not communication, like emails and kind of writing skills. And then your physical is an activity of your choice that you do for 6 months. And if you join the apprenticeship and you've done some of Duke of Edinburgh Gold before joining SJP, then that is also taken into account. So then you won't have to do every little bit of it. And then we have a residential, which is a week long, and 2 expeditions, one which is a half week and one which is a week long as well. So the residential is a great kind of way of team building, getting to know the rest of the cohort. So my cohort were quite lucky because we had our residential in July this year when England beat Denmark, and that was a really good night actually. it was kind of disheartening when that free kick went in, but after that the night got a lot better for us, and it was a really good way of kind of just like connecting with the other apprentices. I mean, we knew each other, but we knew each other professionally and not personally, and I think since then we've all been so much closer, and I think we're much better friends now as well. And then with the expedition, it's an interesting section. It's very tough to explain how it feels, because if you're not used to walking, then you need to get used to walking. It's a very difficult experience, especially when you're walking like 20 plus K a day with like 60 kilos on your back. And it's again, it kind of brings out your character, and it also is another way of team building. And I think it's been really great for all of us to do that. And again, it's something that brought us even closer together. And then the charitable foundation event. So that's something myself and Brian are working on at the moment. We create an event which obviously all proceeds go to our charitable foundation that Eve mentioned earlier, and it's a great experience just to learn a bit more about project management and kind of trying to get people to work in a team. So there's kind of a leader that gets appointed, voted in essentially, and then they kind of oversee everything. And this year, due to COVID and how many people we have across the business, we're doing separate divisional events, which will then all amalgamate into one kind of company-wide event. And there's a whole range of different things that we're doing. So we're doing raffles, auctions, doing things like speed networking, and it's a great opportunity to kind of feed your creative side as well and think, okay, what can we do that's different to previous years? And that's been really fun so far, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting it set up for the end of November. And then the qualifications. So some of us, we all do different qualifications depending on which part of the business we're in. So myself and Bryony, we're doing a financial services administration qualification. Some people do a business administration qualification, and there's others from like investment operations, investment management, and then there's also business analyst roles as well. So it really just depends on what area of the business you're in, but normally they comprise of a professional qualification with an accredited exam board. So our one was with the Chartered Insurance Institute. Some of them will be with the CFA Institute, and some will be with other professional exam boards like the CISI or the LIBF. So, but it's a really good opportunity for us to kind of study and work at the same time. And it's a great way of learning skills like discipline, prioritizing time management. And then it's also a really nice feeling to kind of get your exams done. But I realize we've got a short of time, so I will I'll move on to the next slide.
Thank you so much, Sam and Bryony. Really conscious of time as well, so I will sort of briefly touch on the next few sort of programs as well, because I understand we do have some questions to go through at the end. So the next program that we'll talk about is the rotational graduate program that we have on offer. So this is a rotational program that's designed to give you structured development that will allow you to develop as an individual whilst gaining a professional qualification. So usually what tends to happen in terms of the rotations, you are rotated around the business. So you'll be in an area for 6 months, and then you would be sort of transitioned to another area of the business. So like Sam and Bryony had sort of said previously, qualifications will really vary in terms of the role that you're in. So sometimes you wouldn't necessarily start completing a qualification until we effectively find you, or you find your place in the business. So once you've found your really area that you want to stay in, and that you want to start your career in, so that's when you would really then start looking at in terms of the qualifications alongside those. So a graduate will start their experience in our head office in Cirencester. So complete 6 rotations around the business. So currently it is a 3-year program that we have. Going forward, we potentially may move this to a 2-year program, only being that we've had quite a few graduates in the past that have found their place within the 2 years. 3 years is sometimes a bit too long, so we are potentially looking at kind of reducing that down to potentially a 2-year program. So the program's designed to give you a breadth of experience and exposure to key stakeholders. So whilst you're contributing to business activities, it is kind of a big first step for a lot of people out there in terms of sort of stepping into a career ladder. So the program is really there to help and develop you as an individual and really give you that key understanding of the work styles. I can completely appreciate that a lot of graduates may have sort of done a year's placement as well, so have already had that experience. But the program's really designed to help you identify where your key skills are and where you really want to go in the future. I think that's one of the benefits of having sort of the rotation aspect. So as you can see here, so we welcome graduates that completed a 2-2 or above degree and are looking for a career in the financial sector. So we are a wealth management organisation, but as Sam and Brian had mentioned, there are so many different departments that are on offer. So even though we're in finance effectively and in wealth management, we have so many different departments. So like marketing, we've got facilities, we've got technology, we've got investments, legal. There's so many different areas that you can actually go into. So we've also got, so when you first join the business, we do a tailored 1-week induction. We host workshops and training. And also supporting around qualifications. We've got here where it sort of says around exposure to senior management. You would be involved in a whole range of different projects across business, and you will also be given a senior sponsor and sort of a mentor buddy. There will always be that support network there. So I'll move on to the specialist grad programme. So in terms of the specialist graduate programme that we have, we really want to work with people who can bring a unique approach to how they work. So why we also offer graduates to join a specialist, because there are some people that go to uni and really know in terms of the area that they want to be within. So this is why we have sort of specialist areas in the business, specialist career pathways that you can go down. So we have those roles out there. So depending on the programs at the time that we have available, they will all be advertised in terms of the different offerings that are there. So the graduates with a keen interest in particular areas of the business can sort of really then specialize in that area and start their career and start a qualification from the outset. And they'll be able to have sort of a dedicated program manager who will be there to support in terms of your sort of development needs, and will support you through the program as well. So those are the graduate programs, and so we also offer summer internships. So for upper sixth form students studying towards achieving A levels or undergraduates in second year of university. So we offer a 4-week programme for A level students and 8 weeks for undergraduate students. So they tend to usually start around the start of July, depending on the length of time that you'll be with us. Finishes sort of end of July, end of August. So it is a paid opportunity. So it's a really good insight for students to gain an insight into the financial sector. So you gain exposure to the working environment and have a large opportunity to network as an inclusive team. So while also sort of completing a daily role and working on projects during your time. As you can imagine, sort of during this summer that we've had, we have done a remote experience. So we've had remote internships, but we've offered the opportunity for a lot of our interns to also come into the office. And I think, as you can imagine, everyone's kind of tried to seize the opportunity to get out and come in. So we've had a lot of the interns that have come into the office this year, which has been amazing to see. And they've really, really used the opportunity and really flourished and really got involved and came with new ideas and put projects out there, come to senior stakeholders and said, let's do this, really come out there and sort of put ideas forward. And they've been able to do things and work on areas that potentially people haven't had time to do or got to, and have really helped teams in terms of moving forward in areas. So it's a great opportunity to really get exposure to the business and network with stakeholders. So that's the summer internship. So in terms of the applications for our summer internship for next year, we will be looking at opening those in January 2022. So definitely keep an eye on our website, sign up to job alerts, as that will then notify you as to when they come out. And then also we have an industrial placement program. So an industrial placement program is typically for candidates who have a sandwich year, so part of a university course. So we do have, so it is a 12-month program that is has 2 sort of 6-month placements. And as per sort of all of our inductions, we have the 1-week induction, workshops, but it's a program that's really designed to give undergraduate students the opportunity to transfer skills from university and really gain that workplace environment experience, and have that hands-on experience of contributing to projects and have initiatives that have a real impact on our business. So the program is based in Cirencester, which is our head office, and also the program will typically start in July. And sometimes it can be sort of July to July, or depending obviously your university commitments, could be July either less or longer. It's entirely down to sort of the individual. And those applications will also be going out in January. So that's all about our program. So now in terms of hints and tips to really get your CVs up together, and it's obviously not just that you can use for SJP, it's in terms of what you can use for many different organisations that you're applying to. So if we just start first with, sorry, really conscious of time, I completely get we've not got too much left, so we'll have to kind of go through this quite quickly. So first of all, around adapting your CV. So make sure that when you apply for jobs, read the job description and the job role multiple of times and adapt the layout depending on what they ask for. So ensure that you've got a personal statement, ensure that you've got your work experience in there. And if you're applying for a role within, say, financial services, but have also applied for a different role, in your kind of opening statement, make sure that it's reflecting that. And then, so we've got here, so the personal statement. So it's very important to have a well-written, tailored to the job personal statement. So like I said, sort of mention the position, the company, why you think that you've got those skills for that job specifically. Don't overdo it and don't make it too long. You need it to be punchy, exciting to read, and make the recruiter at the other end sort of really want to read on. So also have your full details of your education, so GCSEs, A levels, any degrees that you've got, and then also so demonstrate relevant skills, so the technical skills, really the soft skills that you also have, and also any sort of work experience that you've worked on, any things in your life that you've been super proud of, sort of certificates that you've received, any charities that you've raised loads of money for, anything that you're really proud of that you think, yeah, like this is me. And you really want people to kind of know about it. So any volunteering that you've done as well. So in terms of our assessment centres, so, and also assessment centres that other organisations that host, so we tend to do them typically for early careers programmes, because as you can imagine, we are a FTSE 100 company, so it is quite competitive. We have a lot of applications that are out there, so a lot of organisations do have these assessment centres, but also where we can really assess a candidate in many different lights, and there's different people on those assessment centres as well. There's varying different activities that are throughout the day, so it's being able to assess all the different skills that a candidate has. So an assessment centre is a process where candidates are examined to determine their suitability for specific types of employment. So it can be face-to-face, virtually, so undertake all the different exercises. And at the moment we've been doing it virtually. We used to do them face-to-face, but at the moment we are doing them virtually. So I'll move on to the application process. So firstly, what you'll need to do is find a vacancy that you think that you could be suited to. But what I would say is, when you are thinking about where you want to go, I would be very selective in terms of where you apply, and I would really do full research, have the idea in your head as to why you want to work for that company. When you're speaking to that company, they want to feel like that they're the only company that you're applying to. They want to feel special. They want to feel like you're all for them. So have a look and really kind of apply it to that organisation. So for the application process, firstly, we have an application. This could vary for different organisations, but we then put candidates through a situational judgment test. So it's designed really to see how you would react to business situations. So it's a scenario-based assessment, asked sort of many different sort of questions. And what I would say is, don't ever overthink them. I would really answer these authentically, how you would naturally respond into a business situation. So video interview, so it's usually a series of short questions. You usually have about a minute to answer each. You are given sort of some prep time just prior towards sort of before recording your answer. So just be mindful when you are doing this video interview, sort of be mindful of your background, be mindful of the sound that you're, the environment that you're within. You want it quite a quiet environment, so that when they're watching you, it's just you that all they can hear. And just make sure that you use the time sort of appropriately. And then following on from the video interview, it is the assessment centre. So as sort of I mentioned before, there are sort of like a range of different exercises that our candidates are put through throughout the day. So usually we have sort of a group exercise, a written exercise, analysis task, and a presentation. And then after that, there is a final stage interview. So the final stage interview is typically with a senior management person within the business. So it's really the final opportunity to talk about the role, ask any questions that you have, and really focus on sort of the longer term and what your values are. So we'll briefly touch on the group exercise. So it's a common assessment centre exercise. Usually a lot of organisations use these. So assessors are looking for candidates who can listen to other people's ideas, be positive, and articulate their own ideas. So they measure the skills which are useful in a real working environment. So if you've got a good idea, articulate it. The assessors are taught to observe what they see. So just think like they're a video recorder. And it is very important not to be distracted by assessors. I think sometimes doing them virtually it's quite easy because assessors are kind of shut away, you can't really see them, so it makes it sometimes a little bit easier. There can be an analysis exercise, so presented with lots of different information. So you could be asked to create a written document and then work out information that's going to be relevant to the brief. Written exercise, so quite similar. You're usually given some data to sort of decipher and draft a letter from the information that you've been given. So typically presented on the day, so no preparation needed. A lot of the exercises that you would do on an assessment centre, there isn't really any preparation that you would be required to do. it is tend to usually just be sort of the interview that you would need to do some preparation for. So with the interviews then, so there are different types of interviews. So you've got competencies, strength-based, values and technical. I am really conscious of time, but I just want to quickly get Sam and Bryony, if possible, to touch base on their sort of experience of the process that they went through.
Do you want to go, Bri?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my interview process was very different to Sam's. So I applied in 2020, right in the brink of the first lockdown. Obviously, everything couldn't be done face to face. We were all locked in at home. So my whole application process was virtual. From the video interview, the final interview, the assessment centres, everything was over like Teams and over computer. For me, I felt SJP did a really good job of running things smoothly. There was no issues on knowing what we were going to do. We had emails very clearly of what was expected of us, when the dates were, the times, etc. The assessment centres were understandably different, but for me, I didn't exactly know any different because I hadn't done anything like that previously before. But it was a really interesting way, and it was, for me, I had a really good experience, and obviously I got to where I am now. But I guess the only challenge I come across virtually was seeing the office for the first time was actually on my first day, whereas most of the other apprentices saw the office during the assessment centres. So that was probably more of a challenge for me, but it was just a case of kind of navigating around and using the support of others to show me kind of what the office is about and where everything is. But yeah, for me, the interview stage was a positive experience, and I learned a lot from it about myself and what I could work on.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to do my first part of the kind of process in person. So I did my assessment centre at the office, and that was a really good experience. I'd never been to one before. So I did my video interview, then I got called in for an assessment centre. I did my assessment centre there, had an interview, had a group exercise, and then a written task and a couple of other bits there as well. And then my final interview was on Teams. So I kind of did it almost half virtually and half in person, and it was I mean, I think SJP just made the whole process a lot easier than I'd had at other companies that I'd applied for when I was applying for apprenticeships. A lot of the other ones, it felt a bit more stressful. It felt a bit more pressured, whereas with SJP the whole process felt very, very smooth and you know, not relaxed, but it made you feel more comfortable when you were interviewing and when you were doing those assessment centres.
Perfect, thank you. So if I just move on to some top tips. So we've got some top tips for interviews. So like I said before, so really research the company. Sometimes keep your CV in front of you for interviewers. So just in case maybe they don't have a copy, try and use a variety of examples. So when you have sort of competency questions, it'd be good to kind of for the recruiters or line managers to hear a different variety of the examples. Also in those situations, really talk about what you did. A lot of times when we do interviews, it's really difficult to kind of understand from a candidate as to what they did in that situation. So really tell them and focus on what you did as that situation, because at the end of it, we could come away and think, well, what did they actually do part of that situation? So it's a really good opportunity for you to explain your part in that situation. So make the most of the tell me about yourself question. So it's really a good opportunity to sell yourself, and also be prepared with some questions at the end for the interviewers. They love questions. So like I said, we've had some different sort of styles of interview questions. So one of them sort of being competency based. So consider the different competencies that are So have a look at the job description and really have a look at what they are looking for, so the skill sets, and look at the competencies related to it. That will then give you an idea in terms of sort of situations that you need to think of being related to those competencies. It will help you then prepare some examples before. Got strengths based as well. So here we sort of based on sort of strengths, desires, interests, aspirations, and positive experiences. So use the STAR method. So don't be afraid to ask for clarity around questions. So if you're unsure what they're asking you, it shows that you're confident and that you're really considering that your answer. And really listen to the question before you sort of jump in and respond, so that you really do understand the questions properly. But the STAR method is a method that you should always keep in your mind. So when you are being interviewed, we always want to kind of have the start to the end sort of situation. So like it says here, you explain what the situation is, you tell them what that task was specifically, the actions that you did, and what the results were from that. They usually ask as well in terms of what did you learn from it. So I would always just have that in the back of your mind. So when you are answering the questions, answer it in that format, so then that you've answered everything. It's covered all bases, so that it would potentially then the recruiter or line manager, they won't need to ask any more questions. And also, so in adjustments, so employees are required to make reasonable adjustments if you've declared a disability. So we always encourage to do that sort of at application stage, because that will really support employers being able to help make those adjustments to support the individual throughout the whole process. We're there to really make the process as fair and as easy as possible for you. So we're here to get the best from you. So as much information as we know, we can then really support. So the arrangements can be made from sort of making sure that the venue is accessible. We've got appropriate facilities, and also sort of extra time for any testings that there are. So just let the employer know sort of beforehand. So final messages from us before we sort of go on to any questions. So early applications, I would definitely keep an eye out, sign up to job alerts, because potentially a lot of organisations do close their adverts early due to high volumes of applications. So you don't want to lose out. You really want to get there first in, first dibs. So really get those applications in early. So your unique selling point. So what do you want to be remembered for? So when you're applying, like I said before, really focus on companies that you really want to work for. Demonstrate a positive attitude, be authentic, and really capitalize on all opportunities. But at the same time, don't overthink everything. Just focus on really what you want to do. So in terms of sort of early careers activities and opportunities, this is our early careers Instagram. So this is probably one of the best sort of platforms, I would say, to kind of follow, as we do regular updates on there in terms of when programs are available, but also it will give you a really good insight into the apprentices that we've got on program, or the graduates, and all the different things that they get involved in. So yeah, please do give that a follow, and also just keep an eye on the website for these opportunities. So I think that's everything from us. So thank you so much for your time in terms of listening to everything we've got to say. I know we've not got much time left, so really conscious of time, and we do want to get through sort of as many questions as we can. Bear with me one moment, and I can just stop sharing my screen and we'll go on to answers. Bear with me. Right, so if we unfortunately probably won't be able to get time to do all of the questions, so we will have to just go through a few of them. I'm just checking to see in terms of any questions that we can't get to. If there's any questions sort of on LinkedIn or personally that you want to reach out to, do feel free to, and we'll be more than happy to kind of go back to those. If I just kind of start with one of the first questions that we've got. So a question here is, what is the work-life balance like, and what are the typical hours that you work? So particularly for junior employees. So for that question, I would say that it has changed over time. I feel like a couple of years ago, I feel like everyone would be sort of working longer hours, staying in the office, but now everyone really does stick to their hours sort of that they need to do. But also I think having gone through a lockdown and everyone working from home, it's really pushed that work-life balance. And I think with SJP, they are massively supportive of putting the employee first. So if there's anything that you need to go and do sort of throughout the day, so appointments, if you really need to say flex those hours, say if you wanted to work 8 to have 2 hours off and work a bit later, or if you wanted the morning to start later and work into the evening, you obviously have those conversations with your individual line managers, and but they are SJP is super flexible now in terms of work-life balance and sort of starting and finishing hours. I think before it was kind of strictly 9 till 5, whereas now I would definitely say it's a lot more flexible. So in terms of, I think I've already answered when the grad scheme will be open. So that will be opening up. Potentially we'll have opportunities starting from January. So I'm going to ask Bryony and Sam this one because it's more related to early careers. So someone's asked here, I would be interested to know what attracted you to a career at SJP and what has kept you there. Can I ask either Brian or Sam?
Yeah, I don't mind going for that one.
Thank you.
So I think, first of all, I didn't know too much about the company culture and too much about the company itself. I think what really interested me and attracted me to SJP was how much they put out there about supporting you and developing you. And not only are we helping the business by our roles, but they're also supporting us to be better people and better ourselves. They're always open to different qualifications and more qualifications and workshops. We have a learning and development department within the company, and they offer lots of other opportunities to develop yourselves. So that kind of attracted me towards the company. It was just the very clear apprenticeship program that they kind of demonstrated in their advertisement, and how you could develop yourselves. But what mainly keeps me there is the people. I absolutely love the people at SJP. Everybody is so supportive. I haven't come across anybody within the company that's been like difficult or made me feel devalued, or I haven't felt not equal to anyone else, never mind whether I'm an apprentice or whether I'm senior management. It's so supportive, and I just generally love the atmosphere that it brings, especially in the office.
Yeah, I like to echo those those thoughts there. It's what attracted me to SJP was the fact that it's obviously a very well established company, and for me it was a good foot in the door to get into finance. Trying to go directly to your big banks like Goldman and JP Morgan is sometimes quite difficult, especially if you don't have the right contacts, and to be blunt. And it's SJP is a really good way of learning the industry and learning actually who the competitors are, who does what, and then also to learn more about wealth management as a whole. And it's a great place to meet a lot of people, and there are a lot of people who work at SJP who actually you can expand a network with them, and then you can get into their networks as well. And it's a great place to just kind of establish yourself in finance, and then kind of make your move to wherever you want to go. I think it's a great platform for that, and it's also a great, especially if you want to become a financial advisor, I think it is the best place in the UK to go if you want to be an advisor.
Perfect, thank you. Sam, I've actually got a question here directed for you. So what is the most interesting thing about your role, and what's the least interesting thing?
Okay, so I think the most interesting thing is the kind of the diversity that I have. No day is the same, and also with rotating, it's the challenge of you get really established in a team for like 4 or 5 months, and then you kind of just cut it short, and you got to start again. It's like starting a new job every 6 months, and it's been challenging, but it's been a really good kind of challenge. And it's also, for me, the interesting thing is kind of getting involved with speaking to external stakeholders. So like the partnership, and my new rotation, I'll be starting to speaking with clients as well, and kind of just learning on the job, and kind of soaking everything in, and that's probably been the most interesting part. I think the least interesting part would probably be maybe the admin parts of the apprenticeship. There's some bits you literally just have to log stuff, and going back 6 months to remember what you did in a meeting 6 months ago can be quite tough. So those bits of logging the apprenticeship stuff it can get a bit tedious sometimes.
Perfect, thank you so much. So we've got a question here around sort of fluidity of roles and experience. So is there opportunities for roles to change and for there to be lateral moves within the company? So SJP is an organisation that really supports development, and over the last couple of years has massively increased in terms of internal movement. It's been super supportive in being able to ensure that people are in the right roles, in the roles that they really want to be in, really develop in what they're passionate about, and really if they want to change, there is the options there to do so. We offer out secondments, so we have sort of potentials of doing sort of 12-month secondments, potentially less, sometimes longer, and I think those are really beneficial to really being able to build on those skill sets and kind of transitioning to different teams. So in terms of those moves, so there are so there's the ability to, it really does help, I guess, in terms of if you want to have that jumping role as well and really increase your responsibilities, there is that option there. I think there's always it's kind of always don't know what the word is, but I mean it's kind of always encouraged, I would say, to really put yourself out there and really do what's best for you. So I think we had, during COVID, there were quite a lot of roles within the business. There was a lot of areas within the business that it kind of dipped, didn't really have much to do, because a lot of the contact that we had was dealing face to face. So a lot of the contact then going remotely, the work wasn't really there. But then completely on the other side, you'll have areas of the business that were almost swamped with extra work. So we really use the opportunity to kind of pull on those skill sets and move people around the business to really support the areas where people didn't have much going on to areas where had loads going on. So I think that really helped a lot of people as well in terms of really build on their skill set, put people in positions maybe that they didn't necessarily know they had those strengths. So it's really helped a lot of people as well. So let me have a look in terms of some other questions. See what else. We've got quite a lot of questions here. So around the positions on LinkedIn, but no graduate program. So should I apply to the financial advisor position directly? Is it for the new graduates? So if there's a position that's been advertised on our LinkedIn, we haven't yet released any graduate positions as of yet. So if there is one that's there now, that wouldn't be a graduate role. So those positions will be sort of released from January. But you have obviously said if you want to apply directly, then feel free to kind of apply either via our career site or on LinkedIn. So what's different about working here than anywhere else that you've worked, and what excites you about SJP? So I will answer that because I've worked in sort of other organisations before SJP. I think the main thing, and I know it's quite cliche and a lot of people say it, but I think it's the same as Sam and Bryony. It is the culture, it's the people. I've worked in organisations before where the culture's not been so inclusive. It's not had that family. We are a large organisation, but yet it has that family feel. Everyone is so supportive of each other. Everyone's there for each other. No matter what level you are, you're all equal. And everyone just builds you up. You're all there you are effectively all one big team. You're there you're all working towards the same goal. I think I've worked in organisations before where it's almost competition. It depends what you want to do. It depends what sort of thing you liked. But for me, I'm more of a team player, team person, and loves having that supportive culture. What excites me about SJP, it's a constantly growing and changing company. So there's always new things happening around the corner, always new things coming up, always new things to get involved in, new projects all the time. So it's never, each day is never the same. It's new every single day. Let me just check on timings, because I think so we've only got, so I think we are out of time, but I just want to also say, if anyone wants to, we are all on LinkedIn as well, so if you just search for us with our names onto LinkedIn, you can then reach out to us directly if you have got any more questions. We are all sort of happy to help, so feel free to sort of connect with us, and then we'll be able to kind of help going forward if you've got any questions. But I just want to say thank you all for your time this evening. It's really been great for us to kind of share our experiences as well for you. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck.
Thank you, everyone.
With
Good luck.
applications.
Thank you so much.